Hello. I wanted to make a really quick video to give you some tips and tricks that can help you when you're writing an article for your website. If you don't, want to hire an entire SEO agency to do your SEO research, and if you just write a few articles every now and then, and you don't want to pay for SEO software like SEMrush. There are lots of different softwares. I like SEMrush, and I'll show you why in just a second. But one of the things is you can just sign up with your email, and I've already signed up, so I'm just going to log in, and you can log in with Google, and I'll just pick one of mine. I have multiple accounts. And once it logs you in, so they have tons and tons of information on here. You can do all sorts of things with SEMrush, but I'm only going to look at the keyword analysis for now. And so what I like to do when I'm starting an article is to just write down my ideas of what I think might be. So I'm writing an article about ghostwriting, and so I've written down some keywords that I think might be popular. So the whole point of doing SEO research is you want to write an article that people are looking for. It's the easiest way to get found is just to write things that people are looking for. And then people find you organically through like a Google search that they're going to look for something. And then your, your article is going to show up because you talk about the things that they're looking for. And the easiest way to figure out how to do that is to see the exact keywords that people are actually typing into Google. And so I've started with just some ideas, but then we go into SEMrush, and let's pull this up. And you just type in your keyword. So I'm going to type in ghostwriting, and it'll pull up. Okay, so this is a huge keyword. And it's nice that lots of people are looking for it, but at the same time, that means that you're going to be competing with a lot of people to be able to, have people read your article. So there are several different things that you can look at when you're doing the research. So the volume 4.4K, and then you can see this little flag from the United States. So that means 4.4 thousand people, or 4,400 people a month are looking for the word ghostwriting in the United States, and throughout the world, 72,000 are. And then you can see they break it down by country as well. So I like to just take note of how many. So I'll just do, the US number here, and then a slash, and then the global volume there. And then keyword difficulty. This is a hard word. And it even tells you this keyword will demand 124 high authority referring domains and well-optimized content to start ranking for it. So ranking means like when somebody types in that keyword into Google, where are you going to show up? Are you going to be at the very top of page 1, or are you going to be on like the bottom of page 20? And if you're on the bottom of page 20, I'm sorry, but nobody's going to find you. Like almost no one goes past page 1 of the search results. And so you want to take into account the keyword difficulty. So I will often just type in these 3 things when I'm doing a quick research, keyword research. And then the other thing I like to do, even though I have this whole other list of words that I want to look up, the great thing that SEMrush does is it will give you other keyword variations and questions, and then related keywords. And so I like to come down here because with SEMrush, you have to pay for the service, but with The free account, you get, it's like 7 free keywords a day. And so you can type in 7 keywords or keyword phrases up here at the top. But you can get so many more than 7 just by looking down here. And it won't give you the global volume, but it will give you the US volume and the keyword difficulty, which is enough to go off of for most of the time. It will also give you blogs that you can follow. Like, this is who ranks #1. HubSpot's huge. And so you can get all these links and go and compare what they're writing about. Go look at their articles and see what they've covered, because that's another great tip for writing an article, is you want to see what other people have written about so that you can write it better and offer something that nobody else is offering. So those are the things I like to look at when I'm doing SEMrush in the free version. Is you type in your word, you get the US volume, the global volume, the keyword difficulty, and then you go in and you write down these other keywords. And you don't have to write down all of them, because some things that you want to take into account when you are, getting keywords is, 1, is it related to what you're actually wanting to write about? And 2, search intent. Search intent meaning, like, maybe a bunch of people are writing in this keyword ghostwriter public house, but if somebody who's writing in ghostwriter public house has no intent of hiring you as a ghostwriter from, or they don't want to learn about what exactly you're writing about and how to hire a ghostwriter, then then there's no point in using that keyword. Because they're going to search for that keyword looking for a specific answer. And if you're not providing the answer to that keyword, then they're not going to get any use out of your article. And Google knows that. And so that'll like lead to things like a high bounce rate or different things that will tell Google's algorithm, like, oh, you know what, this article doesn't fit this keyword. And so there's no point in you using it, because it's going to end up, not being helpful at all. So I'm going to go through and just research a bunch of these words, and then I'll show you how I kind of choose my focus keyword, and I'll explain what that is. Okay, really quick. I put in ghostwriting a book, and there was 0 volume in the United States. So nobody's looking for that keyword. So this is why it's important to do keyword research, because there might be things that you think people are looking for, and then you look in here and you're like, nobody is looking for it. So of course, nobody's going to find your article because they're not looking for it. There are 320 people a month in the whole world, but it's such a rare keyword search that the difficulty isn't even applicable. But the nice thing about SEMrush is that then it'll give you suggestions for different phrasing of that idea that you can then use. Okay, and in this process, you will also find things to talk about that maybe you hadn't thought about talking about. So I just found this one of how much does it cost to ghostwrite a book. It doesn't have a lot of keywords volume, but I might find some variations. But the cost, that was something I hadn't thought about. And so I can see that some people are looking for that. And so maybe I'll include that in my article of how much does it cost to ghostwrite a book. Okay, here is another keyword that I just thought of as I was going through, because another good thing is to go through like the who, what, when, where, why, and how with your keywords. And so I thought of the keyword why use a ghostwriter. Doesn't have a ton of volume, but the keyword difficulty is very, very easy. It says it is quite possible to rank for this keyword. You will need quality content focused on the keyword's intent. So compared to the other cases where it was like, you're going to need to have 150 referring domains to even compete. This one's just saying all you need is quality content. And maybe you'll need to get 30 people a month. So that might be worth it. Okay, and here's one other thing that I forgot to show you is that in the data that they give you, they actually show you what the intent is. So the user wants to investigate brands or services when they're searching for this kind of keyword, the ghostwriting process. And so it'll show you different things based on, what keyword you put in. And then also it'll show you how many results show up when somebody searches for that. So 3.2 million results. and cost per click. It'll show you lots of different things. There are 4 ads running, but the trend, how, at some points, certain keywords are more popular. Like you'll see, this is trending on Google or YouTube or whatever. It's because, people are looking for that word. So there's lots of other data in SEMrush that I haven't even touched, but those are like the main ones that you'll see right here, and what they mean. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to go into before I, figure out which keyword I'm going to make my focus keyword, is long tail keywords. So you can see here, like I was talking about before, ghostwriting has, 72,000 searches globally. And that sounds great, except that the competition is high and it's not very specific. And so what you want to look for are long tail keywords that fewer people are going to be looking for that word, but it's actually better for you, because not just because there's less competition, but because, as you'll see here, it says long tail keywords are longer and more specific keyword phrases that visitors are more likely to use when they're closer to a point of purchase or when they're using voice search. Most long tail keywords have lower search volume than short or head keywords. They're a little bit counterintuitive at first, but they can be hugely valuable if you know how to use them. So I love this graph. So it's called long tail because on a graph of, search volume, you can see here, if somebody puts in dog food, lots and lots of people are looking for the word dog food, but it really only captures this much of the market, which is about 10 to 15% of the market. And then organic dog food, that's a little more specific, and that has 4,500 keyword searches versus 153,000. And there's, a smaller portion of the market that's looking for that. And then you have 70% of traffic is looking for these more specific keyword phrases or questions. Lots of people use, voice search, that they'll just, say, hey, Google or Siri or Alexa, whatever, and they'll ask a question. And that's how a lot of traffic is going. And in fact, Google uses in their algorithm, they reward people who answer questions in their articles. And the better you can answer the question more concisely, the higher your chance of getting in that little Google lead box at the top of the page that answers the question. And you can see that there's only 500 searches for how to make dog food at home. But if you have a service that teaches how to make dog food at home, or a website or whatever it might be, then you are going to get people coming to your site for exactly what you offer. Remember that search intent, versus people who are just searching for dog food. They probably want to buy dog food, right? And if you were trying to find people who want to make dog food at home, then even though it's a lower amount of traffic, you are actually getting a higher quality of reader who's coming to your website. And so it seems a little counterintuitive, but you're getting less competition, so it's easier for you to show up, and you're getting exactly the kind of people who you want to be looking for you. And so if you ever hear references to long tail keywords, that's it. And so, here I've got 40 searches a month, or 1.3 thousand, or 210. Those might seem a little counterintuitive, but if I only need to have 2 or 3 clients a month as a ghostwriter, then 210 people coming to my website a month is actually pretty good. And so I'm going to go through and find the best balance between the keyword difficulty and the keyword volume. So how hard is it to rank for that versus how many people are going to see it if I do rank for it. So I'm going to go through. I like to highlight. So I'm going to go through and highlight, and then I'll turn this back on. Okay, another quick tip as I'm going through and highlighting these and picking which one I'm going to use. Here, hire a ghostwriter for a book. 40 volume, 42 keyword difficulty. How to hire a ghostwriter for a book, 30 volume, 42 keyword difficulty. Why am I going with the one that has 30 versus 40? Again, they're both really low, so it doesn't matter that much. But hire a ghostwriter for a book has more, but it also is inside of this keyword phrase here. So how to hire a ghostwriter for a book just has how to added to the end of it. So you're actually going to capture both phrases by using this one, because you've got hire a ghostwriter for a book here. And so you're actually going to be getting that phrase, but then you'll also be getting the how-to phrase. Okay, and then really quick before I jump into everything else, you can see here what is a ghostwriter. Gets 1.9, so 1,900 searches, versus what are ghostwriters, gets 260, and the keyword difficulty is only a difference of 1. And so this again is why keyword research is so important, because you know now that you should use what is a ghostwriter, and you're going to get a much wider, you're going to capture a lot more people who have basically the same intent. And so now that I've gone through, I've highlighted the best ones in green. These are the ones that I want to really focus on. And then the, secondary ones in yellow. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to organize kind of the outline of my article, aiming to use these green ones as section headers and the yellow ones within the copy as like points that I'm going to hit, or just words that I'm going to use within the copy. And so I'll do that and show you really quick how that looks. All right, so now that I have all of my keywords, and I only searched for about 7 keywords, but this is how many I got. So this is really a great process. If you are only writing, 1 article a day, you get 7 keyword searches on SEMrush a day. And so you've got all these keywords. I went through and, green lighted which ones I wanted to use the most, and the secondary ones. And then I selected my focus keyword. So when you are in WordPress or another site, you can select your focus keyword. And this is the one that you want to get in there at least 4 times per every 1,000 words. Preferably a little bit more. You don't want to over optimize, but you do want to, use it enough that Google's algorithm can see like, oh, they're using this keyword. I should show people who want to know how to hire a ghostwriter this article, because they talk about it a lot in this article. And so you want to for sure use it in your title. I might not leave that as the only part of the title. I might add a subtitle, but for now, I want to make sure that I have my focus keyword in my title. And then I've gone through and I've outlined the article using those keywords. So my introduction, I'm going to talk about some of those, bigger keywords of like, what is ghostwriting, or what is a ghostwriter? What do ghostwriters do? And I love this for myself of just like a little idea for the intro. And then have a section on why use a ghostwriter and the benefits of ghostwriting. And then how to hire a ghostwriter, and then more specifically, how to hire a ghostwriter for your book, and then hire a ghostwriter for a blog. So those different things, and there are other keywords that I want to hit in there as I'm writing. So I have those as notes of like, oh, talk about how to hire a ghostwriter for a book versus hire a ghostwriter to write your book. So just different phrasing. So those are ideas of how to phrase different sentences as you're writing. And then how much does it cost to hire a ghostwriter? I have a section on that. I'm still debating whether I'm going to have that like as part of this how to hire a ghostwriter section, or just have it as a section on its own. And then ghostwriting process, and have, finish it up with talking about what people can expect once they hire a ghostwriter, what that process is going to look like, and how to work with them, and make sure that the process goes smoothly so that they get what they want out of the process. And so that's basically how I start the outline. And then what I will do, I'll go in and find the different articles that have already been written about it and see what they've said, and if there's anything I want to add, and what I can add beyond what has already been said. And so I'll continue this outlining process, but this is where the keyword research goes into it. So I know I said this was going to be a quick video, but look, it's been 20 minutes. Yeah, keyword research is really fun and helps you not only know what to write, but how to write it so that you're finding the people who are looking for what you offer.